In this episode of the Cole Memo, I sit down with the owner of a smoke shop who claims their business was essentially raided by law enforcement for selling federally legal hemp products. They allege that officers confiscated nearly 50 pounds of flour, along with other items, most of which were later returned after it was confirmed that hemp is indeed federally legal. To top it off, they have video footage of the incident, which we'll watch together during today's show. I've done my best to enhance the audio on the footage by boosting it and adding captions. And while it turned out pretty well overall, it's not perfect. Just wanted to acknowledge that before we dive into this episode. This show is made possible by listeners like you. Support us by giving a positive rating on your streaming platform or by visiting colememo.com/support. If you're not watching this on Patreon, then you're seeing this later than our patrons. For just $3 a month, you can become a patron and get early access to new episodes as they release. That's at colememo.com/Patreon. Enjoy the episode. Cheers, we're sparking up. Today, I'm sitting down with Bilal. Hey, Bilal, tell us, who you are, about your business, and where our listeners can find it.
Hi, I'm Bilal. I've been running a smoke shop for about 15 years now. It's a unique smoke shop, and we're located at 545 Dundee Avenue, East Dundee, Illinois, 60118, right by Sadams Village.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And, I will say that when I saw some images and video of it online, it is a super unique smoke shop. Not only are the vibes cool, you can tell you added your own personal touch. My personal favorite thing that you have in your smoke shop is the birds, dude. The fact that you have the birds is so cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, the birds are awesome. The customers love it too when they come in. Yeah, I love it also. I really enjoy bringing my pets here just so I can hang out with them and spend quality time with them also.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's so cool. And literally for that reason, I definitely plan to come out, not only to support your business, but honestly for an excuse to see those birds.
Definitely.
So, so cool. Well, thank you for telling us where we can support you online. And I want to give background as to how we connected today really quick, and maybe that'll naturally segue us into our conversation. So, I have had Rod Kite on the show for a while. I'm a huge proponent of hemp, and maybe we should start with that actually. So, we're all familiar with cannabis. I was just smoking it. Um, Cannabis is a scientific term. It's based in botany, the study of plants. In recent past, we've come up with two arbitrary legal terms: marijuana and hemp. And for people that are not watching the podcast, I'm doing air quotes. Marijuana is any cannabis, because it's all cannabis, above 0.3% THC by weight volume. Something to that effect. I may have gotten those last few words wrong. Hemp is anything under that threshold. And again, these are arbitrary words not based in science. They're just legal words. And again, that's why I connected with Rod, because he's helped me. He is a legal professional. He's helped me to refine my understanding on this topic. So I'll encourage people to check out the episodes I've done with Rod. I'll paste the links in the show notes. Anyways, I heard Rod on a podcast, and he mentioned something had happened in Illinois. And then I had saw some footage you posted online, which we might watch here in a little bit as you tell your story. I connected two and two together, and I was like, this is you. And that's kind of how we've gotten connected. I had heard something crazy had happened. I want to give you the space, man. Tell us what happened.
Yeah. So basically, on August 22nd, the East Dundee Police Department came into a smokehouse with a search warrant. A search warrant in my name. And on the search warrant, it stated that they're coming in for cannabis and delivery of cannabis also. So when they showed me the search warrant, I'm like, I'm not selling weed or like a drug dealer, or I'm not like like doing anything illegal. Everything I'm selling, I have paperwork, and I provided them the 2-inch stack of paperwork, which shows everything that it's less than 0.3% THCA. And they understood that. Like I even have video footage of it, showing them that it's completely legal. I'm not doing anything illegal. And once the detective, I think her name was Jessica Moreno's, she looked at all the paperwork. She even pointed it out, that it shows less than 0.3% THC, and they still decided to take it as marijuana and seize all my inventory. They basically seized around $200,000 retail worth of inventory. It was like about 40 some pounds of like hemp flower, like it's all labeled THCA. Um, and they still decided to take all that. They took all my like Space Gods, Dozos, Mellow Fellow, all like packaged items that clearly say like the proper ingredients, 0.3% THC, hemp, even CBD products. They even took my CBD, like it says just CBD on there. They took that also, which is really, really weird. I'm like, these people are law enforcement, they're detectives, they're police officers, and they don't even know the difference from CBD and THC. And it was really mind-boggling. And then the weirdest thing was when they arrested me. I'm like, why are you guys arresting me? I'm like, I didn't put up a fight. I just like let them arrest me because I know I did nothing wrong, but it was just really scary. And then after they arrested me, they put me in the police car. They took me to the police department. They put me in a cell. And then at that point, I'm just thinking, I'm like, these people think this is marijuana, and they're arresting me for like as if I'm a like a drug lord or like a really big like person dealing drugs on the street when I'm not, you know? And it just felt really horrible. And at that point, when I was locked up, I felt like I was gonna be in there forever, and I'm gonna have to say goodbye to like all my pets, my wife, my kids, the business, everything. And I'm just like, this sucks. But yeah, it was really horrible. That moment was just like disgusting. I'm like, how can law enforcement not know the laws, and how do I know more laws than law enforcement officers? And it was just weird, man. It was really horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I feel like you mentioned the first clip. Let's watch it, shall we?
Okay.
All right. So for people that are listening, you can watch the video version of this podcast at if you check in the show notes. We're about to watch this video.
Okay, so that part right there is them, like if you go back a little, yeah, so that's part of the we requested the FOIA. Like I requested it, my wife requested it, my lawyer, Hakeem Mohammed, he requested it also. They denied all of us the body cam footage. They didn't give me any body cam footage. The only body cam footage they provided me was when they returned everything, because they returned, well, they didn't return everything. They kept like 2 pounds of my flour, which is really, really weird. And we keep really good track of our inventory. So that was really weird how they kept like 2 pounds of my flour, which was white runts, mystery, and sour tangy. I remember those three strains perfectly, because if you look at my operation, when you stop by, you'll understand how clear and how anyone should be able to understand my operation clearly, and how easy it is for me to keep track of my inventory really good. So they denied the body cam footage because I wanted to see which two officers or which five officers stole my flower, which is really wrong because that ticked me off the most, you know? It's just like, how can you be law enforcement and steal? It just doesn't make sense. So they denied body cam. Oh, even the public access counselor asked them for a legitimate reason why you're denying this guy body cam footage. And we didn't get a response or anything. It's really mind boggling. And but if you want to play more, I could talk over the rest.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, let's do it. I can turn it down a little bit so that
Yeah, right there is where that's the detective, Jessica. That's the lab reports. I'm sure you know how lab reports look like, right? And it states
Mhm.
everything. And those are the right lab reports done with the proper test to test hemp. And the test that the police use is like the NARC 2 test. And as you can
Interesting.
see, she's looking at it. Oh, that's where they arrest me.
I can go back where you saying something about this, just her looking
Yeah,
at it
like
and stuff.
yeah. So as she's looking at it from that top view camera, you can see her point at where it says less than 0.3% THC.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Boom. They know it's hemp right there. It's less than 0.3%.
Yeah. And they're
And then
matching
I even have other
it up to
footage.
the products, right? Because this she's got the papers in her hand right now. She's
Exactly. They're
looking.
matching it up to the products now.
Gotcha. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh, I forgot. It's okay.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. Well, this next scene that it looks like you released, we are seeing you getting arrested. Um, I'm sure that was a scary moment.
Yeah, dude, it was horrible. I'm like, is this a joke? And like, are you guys like really that stupid? It's hemp.
Well, and were you thinking maybe they were just putting you in handcuffs for the time being that you weren't going to
That
be
yeah,
leaving?
exactly. At that time, I didn't think that they were gonna actually like. You know what? I didn't even know I was being charged with anything. Like I didn't know. Like I was really clueless on everything because I've been doing this for a whole year and a half over here, and all of a sudden they come out of nowhere and do this. It's just weird. I didn't think they were gonna actually like throw me in jail for this.
Yeah. And your bird's sitting there watching it all go down.
Yeah, yeah, he's a cool bird.
Yeah, this part pissed me off.
Yeah, it really pisses me off. Like how
I
they
don't
were just like
look,
bothering him.
I don't know if look, I don't know if he just has never been around birds, but yeah, I just think when I look at this footage, it makes me mad, but I also just for some reason, even though like it's hard to, I try to give benefit of the doubt. I think maybe he just, cops have flashlights and they're like, wow, this guy literally has a fucking bird in here. That's pretty crazy. But I guess I'm not trying to excuse the behavior. I'm trying to say that maybe he's ignorant to the fact that birds don't like that, you know?
Exactly.
So
Yeah, well, still, that cop wasn't a nice cop, anyways. Like, yeah, I could tell he had back problems. I'm like, I asked him, like, hey, I see you're shrugging your shoulder. I see like you have back problems. Like, let me know. I'm going through the same thing, and I'm trying to help myself. Maybe I can help you also. But he just seemed really mean. I'm like, damn, dude. Like, I'm not a bad person here, man.
so here you are, and at this point, are you like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna sit
Oh
here, or
God.
do you know you're going to
At that
jail?
point, it's about like 8:30 or 8:45. I forgot what time it was exactly at night. But yeah, at that point, my wife just showed up to the shop because she was gonna like stop by and she was my ride home. So yeah, at that point, my wife's just watching from outside, getting like watching me like in handcuffs, put in a squad car. And it's just a really sad, like horrible moment because I'm looking at her and then she looks at me and it's just like, damn, that's like horrible.
Yeah, that does suck. That
It's
does
really
suck.
horrible when you're
When
doing
did
nothing
this? So
illegal.
I just want to make sure we got the timeline. When did this start? Was this like earlier in the morning? Like this
No,
was
no,
during
they
daylight?
came in at night. They came
Oh,
in
okay.
at like 7 o'clock or 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I forgot. It was at night though.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so here you are. You're leaving. You said you just saw your wife, right?
Yep. Yeah, she's outside and just looking.
Damn. And so at this point, do you know you're going to jail, or do you think you're just sitting in here while they're looking through the rest of your shit?
At that point, I'm thinking I'm just gonna stay here and they're gonna like release me and like okay, maybe they think it's like weed and I'm doing nothing illegal, but they know I'm doing nothing illegal. But I showed them the paperwork, like it's right there.
Yeah. All right.
But so
Well,
I
what?
thought I was gonna get released, but nope, they took me to jail. And then after they took me to jail, they read me my rights. Like I was in a cell. Like they made me take my shoelaces off and like my drawstring around my pants and like, whatever had like strings on it, they made me take that off. And they put me in the cell and they gave me a blanket. And so I think it was Magnuson, an officer came like 2 3 hours later to my cell and said here's some paperwork. So he made me sign some paperwork. I'm assuming it was like my rights. And then he asked me one question. You know what that one question was?
What's that?
Like, do you have a hemp license? A hemp license. I've been telling you this is hemp the whole time, and he's asking me if I have a hemp license. I'm like, go ask Walmart if they have a hemp license.
Right.
It's just like, what the fuck? You come in for cannabis and you're asking for a hemp license now?
Right. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it was just it just made me feel like I'm like these people are really clueless.
Hmm. Yeah. Straight up. That is wild.
It's
That they did
really
that
wild,
they
dude.
should have
Wait till we
asked.
get to
Well,
the
first
end of
of
the
all,
story.
like, yeah, I mean, not that. I mean, I don't know. You don't need a hemp license to sell those, right?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Only for
So
like growers and cultivators
got you.
or
So
harvest.
yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. It's funny that they asked you so late into the process in any case.
Right?
Okay, well, what's going on in this next scene?
Oh, that's when they started taking all my cash. So so basically they took all my money. They asked me for my passcode to my safe, to my cell phone, to my laptop because they took everything from me. Dude, they destroyed my privacy. They went through everything on my phone, and I know they looked at my personal like private pictures, just because when they returned the phone, like on my phone, there's like three like lines on the bottom left. If you push that button, you can see everything they went through. They looked at my business records, they looked at the images, and the images that they were looking at were naked pictures of me. And it was just like, what the but I don't want to keep on swearing, man. It's just like,
Hey, it's all
why?
right. I mean, yeah, you
Yes.
don't.
So they took my cell phone. They know the password to everything. They took all my money. I couldn't do inventory properly because my laptop and my cell phone is what I use to do my inventory.
Damn, that's
Yeah,
fucking crazy.
dude. Yeah, and then yeah, you can just keep on playing if you want to.
Sure. Yeah. So here they are taking the cash, and this looks like they're
Oh,
taking your
okay, right there.
product,
That what that is? They're
CBD. It looks
taking
like.
all my CBD. It says clearly CBD on there, and that lady's the detective, and she's the one that took my phone and went through my phone. So for a female officer to see like my private parts is really horrible.
Wait. Well, I mean, I know she took your phone. Are you saying you got it back from her, or is it possible that maybe her and her team went through it and it wasn't her? Again, just trying to give benefit of the doubt.
So she's the one that came in and asked us for the password to my phone. Like I didn't want to give it to her because she came back like the next day or 2 days ago, and she asked like me and my wife were at the shop when she came in, and they're like, we need the password for your phone. I didn't want to give it to her, but then my wife ended up giving it to her because she said that it's on the search warrant. You have to like give your password to it. But she was a detective, so I would assume it was her going through it. But we don't have the body camera footage, so I can't say 100%.
True. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that'd be an easy way to prove their side of it. Um, okay, so they're taking your stuff, put bags and bags of stuff. That's you said it what, $200,000 worth of stuff? Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah, oh, but retail worth, yes.
Retail. Gotcha. What's going on here?
And
They're just
and
chumming, or what were you gonna say?
so, oh, okay. No, the reason why I want to put the $200,000 number out there because when they had the village hall meeting and when the police chief discusses with them, they only say it's only $8,000 worth of inventory, but it wasn't $8,000.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then in the footage you're seeing right now over here, they're talking about so one of the guys states that it's 10,000 grams of hemp, and this is while they're bagging everything up.
You want me to
But you
turn it
would have
up
to,
and
yeah, you would have to turn it up, and you can hear one of the guys saying it's 10,000 grams of hemp.
all right, let's try to hear it.
Yeah.
1 second here.
Oh, what are the bags labeled?
Different in ounces.
Well, in terms of like, did it say cannabis, THC? Just because we haven't pulled it all out.
Well, based on my training and experience, I can identify that as cannabis.
Yeah, it's not always gonna.
It is over 7,000 grams.
There he said it. This is over 7,000 grams. Is that what you were referring
Yeah,
to?
just play that back because I think you talked over it a little. He'll say it's 10,000 grams of hemp.
Yeah.
It is over 7,000 grams.
Did you hear that?
Yep.
And do you see all those bags? Those are all labeled THCA right there.
So, right. But based on the calculations we have, minus a bag. You asked a question. Sorry, Josh.
Well, right there. So that's the chief of East Dundee right there. He's returning my money right there. And also when he returns my money, you know what he's saying to me? He's telling me I have to pay taxes for this. And he's asking me if I'm paying the taxes on that. So I just agreed and said yes, because my accountant takes care of everything and my accountant knows more than me about taxes.
Sure. Yeah.
Just listen to how he says it. It's kind of in fast forward mode, but you can hear him saying everything though.
Okay, let's listen to it.
You asked me to. Sorry, Josh. Bilal, you do ask a question. Yeah. On the sales tax portion. Okay. What are you guys doing? So we're supposed to do 5% tax. Is that our new law that started in July? I think it was.
So he said on the sales tax portion, what are you doing for sales tax?
Yeah, so in his mind, he thinks I have to pay like a sales tax to the village or something. And he's asking me if I'm paying that. But I don't know anything about that. I just bullshitted it all.
Yeah. Well, again, yeah, he needs to probably ask your accountant about that.
Exactly. And like I didn't know he was part of like the IRS asking like tax questions to me. I'm like, huh? But I have a bookkeeper.
Yeah. I hear you.
That was the village's answer. Yeah. Here's the cash. We're going to start on.
He said, "You're doing that, right?" And
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah." And
Yeah.
said,
And look, this is where they're bringing all the bags in.
Okay.
But it's not, I don't show all of them, but that's like some of the stuff that they brought in.
He said, "We're gonna start bringing it in." So here they are. Oh,
Yep, and I'm helping.
them.
That's the
You're
chief
smiling.
deputy. And that's my wife keeping the door open for us.
It's funny to see you smile and getting that shit out of the back of their car.
Did you hear what he said when he walked in?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's Chief Deputy Ritter. He says this feels weird.
Oh, let's see. Yep, this feels weird.
Yeah, because he's bringing in pounds of flour, dude. That was probably like 4 pounds of like flour in his hand. Oh, okay, pause right there. That's really important also. That's the Chief Deputy Ritter asking my wife what the laws are on Delta 9 before they brought everything in. Can you see that one clearly?
Yeah. I don't see them asking for the laws, but
I can't see what it says. Okay.
It says, Gabby, can you please provide me the specific Illinois state law that allows the sale of products? Oh, sorry. Yes, they did. I literally just read it. That allows for the sale of products that contain Delta 9. Also, would you be willing to give me the phone number of your distributor? Mellow Fellow will not return any of my calls or emails. Who's Mellow Fellow?
Yes. So this is before they returned everything. So this is Andrew Ritter, Chief Deputy of East Dundee Police Department, emailing my wife. And when my wife emailed them back, she emailed them, I think it was Rod Kite's information at that point. And then after that, they spoke to Rod Kite, which they didn't write on the police report at all. So when Rod Kite spoke to, I don't know if he spoke to the Ritter or if he spoke to the chief of police, after speaking, they bring our stuff back like less than an hour. They bring everything back. So I don't know what conversation he had with Rod Kite, but it was insane. As soon as they spoke, boom, they brought everything back and said sorry, and it was insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Rod talked about it a little bit on the show. He talked a little bit about it. So we'll put that link in the show notes. I can't remember exactly what he said about it, but again, I asked him about the situation. He didn't say it was you. He's a professional and such. Like I said, just made the connection because it's a small world, right?
Yeah.
But you want to any other thoughts on this? It looks like we got some more video left.
Yeah. We could go to the next one.
Cool. All right, here we go.
Oh, this scene. Okay.
So what's going on here?
Okay, in this scene, this is them talking about where to put the evidence at the police department. Like it's like they have like a conversation. I'm like why can't they just put it in a certain spot? Why did they gotta figure out where there's cameras at the police department, where there's not cameras at the police department?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. When I watched this the first time, I couldn't understand that either. Let's listen to that.
This is by the computer.
No, but the police have access to the police side, right? Yeah.
Right.
Nobody's got access to anywhere.
It's got cameras there too. So.
There's cameras outside. There's 2 cameras. So.
I mean, you're eventually gonna have to move it to the evidence area. Anyway.
Right. I would say just put it by the door. Yeah, put it by the door. Put it by the computer area.
Yeah.
Where the
Where we bag up evidence, put it there. Like right where
The fastest route to unpack is parking at 3rd Street and opening those 2 doors and walking the street.
Good.
And with the walk straight through, yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
I like plan. What we did? Okay, got it.
We're almost done.
In the corner is he's weirdo. He's I'm like, who are you talking to? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you want me to go? Yeah. Bring me.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the reason why I posted that part of the video is because I was really frustrated and angered. Like when me and my wife found out that we're missing like 2 pounds of flour. And then it's just, and for me, that's why I believe they're refusing the body camera, because I'm pretty sure those officers like kept it for themselves because they saw how great it is.
You think they saw how good the products are and they wanted it for themselves?
I would definitely 95% to 100% sure that they definitely took it for that reason.
Interesting. You got that fire, huh? I guess I gotta stop by. Gotta stop by the smokehouse.
Yeah, and it's even in when we requested the body cam footage, like the lawyer, he even like wrote that on there. I was like, damn, like because I'm missing 2 pounds, that's why we need all the handling of the body cam footage, like when it was like went to the testing, where it was put like for like inventory, like they're refusing everything because I know for a fact like 100%, more than 200%, because I know what I had.
Yeah, it was just interesting that they brought up the cameras and then that other person was like, well, there's no cameras there. Like,
yeah,
that's like it, and they're like, they kept like talking about where the cameras were and weren't and where they should put it. And well, it's eventually going to have to go into evidence. And it's like, well, why not just put it there? What are we? I didn't know. I wonder, like, again, just trying to be fair. Do they, since you were so confident and you had all this paperwork, where they're like, well, let's not put it in evidence because we don't know what the fuck we're doing right now, and it's possible we're gonna have to give this all back. I don't know.
Not even that. They released me after 4 hours, and I was like, why are they releasing me if they think it's cannabis? It doesn't make sense. So they released me because I wasn't a violent person. That's why they released me 4 hours later.
Because you weren't a violent person?
Yeah, because I wasn't a violent person. That's why they released me.
Well, first, like, they should be focusing on violent and property crimes anyways, and you didn't commit any of those. I know I'm preaching to the choir right now, but like selling cannabis in and of itself is a nonviolent offense, and they should focus on other things.
Correct.
There is another video you posted. It's entitled East Dundee Police Chief Says Sorry. Do you want to watch that together?
Yes. Yeah, let's watch that.
Cool, let's do it. All right, here we go.
Whatever department the item is in, so he takes those numbers and he's pass the test and that. But at the end of the day, everything is net. My system got like every single day I lost money because you guys, it's all in that system, dude. I was losing a lot. I was losing thousands of dollars, and it sucks, dude. Like I'm sorry. No. It's just that it's hard, dude. I wasn't able to make payment, food, nothing, dude. It's horrible.
Yeah, no, we considered that, right? Like we were only in consideration.
But it's after talking to Ron, you guys have
I talked to a bunch of people. Understand?
So listen, like we had to do our due diligence, right? Like, we talked to way more than Rob. Like we talked to the state's attorney's office. We talked to our lab. We talked to several other people. Talked to other people, the state police. Like just distribute.
But
I understand. I understand
that
frustration, but it wasn't simple.
But look, let me pause you for a second. You said an undercover piece of butter, right? Why didn't that undercover go and test it first before going to the judge and getting that? And what did it come back at?
Positive for Delta.
And how much Delta?
doesn't that's a one.
It just says present. They didn't tell you present of how much.
That's what I just said. It doesn't know.
So what kind of test do you got at that?
That's test we need to get a search. Yeah, it's all we need.
It's not a
Field test.
It was a field test. But, so that means you guys weren't educated on the laws back then to understand this was happening.
It's still testing positive, right? Testing positive, which is treatment. It doesn't have the ability to tell us that we're sick.
But don't you see, you guys have that equipment before raiding a whole store and destroying my life and making me look like a criminal in front of all my customers?
Again, sorry, again.
Thank you for your apology.
Yeah, listen, I talked to Rat, Mr. Man, I said, we want to do right? Like, we want to do good in our job, but we also want to treat you right.
And I heard a lot of good things about you, Lois.
I appreciate that. Listen, man, again,
Okay. So
That was pretty heated.
yeah, it was. That was pretty interesting. I'll make sure to subtitle it for people so that they're able to, because both videos, I'll boost the audio and subtitle it so that people can hear it better, you know. That's crazy that you went through that. So what can you give us a recap of what we just saw, like from your perspective?
Yeah. So at that point, we brought I helped them bring everything back in, like all the inventory. It's just in garbage bags, just laying like behind like the showcase over here. After they brought everything back in, we all like walked in. We're standing in the front part of the shop, and I was just getting my frustration out. I was really upset because I lost a lot of money, and that's what I'm telling them. I'm like, I asked them, "Are you gonna pay me back for my loss of sales?" And then when I asked him that, like this, I don't think this part was on the video, but I do have it though. He said that no, we're not gonna pay you back for your loss of sales. And then Ritter's like, how are you gonna prove you lost your sales? I'm like, that's easy. I took pictures of every single day, how much I made, and I took pictures of like 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks prior how much I was making. So we could calculate easily how much money I was losing every day. And then he couldn't respond to that. And after that, we went on to like this subject. And then at least I got an apology out of the chief of police. He finally said sorry after I was like just crying, I guess. I don't know. And it was just really, I don't know. It was just really weird for me. Like I never expected this to happen to me.
Yeah, I just kind of want to revisit the bringing it back. Like, what do you recall? Like, was it kind of like a embarrassing thing for them? Like, what kind of sense did you feel? Like, did they?
Yeah. If we go on the embarrassing thing, we could go to like the next subject also. I'm sure they were really embarrassed because they're bringing back all this stuff that they took from me, thinking it was marijuana with like high THC dosage, when in fact it wasn't. So they brought everything back. And when they brought everything back, like even on the police report, like they said, all signs led to hemp. And that's why they returned everything. But 3 months later, after I was given the police report, like I'm thinking this whole case is closed. You know what they do? They filed criminal charges on me.
3 months later, you said?
3 months later, they filed criminal charges on me. And so I got the summons in the mail for criminal charges for the same incident that happened on August 22nd, where they returned everything. And if you look at my other other YouTube video, you can see how the chief of police is saying that I asked him, like, do you think I'm running a legitimate business? And he says yes. So I just don't understand. If they say I'm running a legitimate business, they return all the stuff. Why are they filing criminal charges on me now? They even posted something in the Chicago Tribune saying that I'm selling illegal like items. But how can I be selling illegal items when they returned supposedly those illegal items? They returned everything except for the 2 pounds of flour that they kept for themselves. But how they're just like defaming me now by posting false like articles in the paper. Even in the village hall meeting, the chief of police was really misleading in that. It just doesn't make sense to me how they can open up a case that when they said all signs led to hemp, Rod Kite spoke to them. It says they know what they're doing, but they continue to like harass us and just make us feel like it's really hard coming to work every day, man, because we work in East Dundee and the police are here. It's a small town of 3,000 people. It's really scary because every time like me and my wife come to work, like we feel like they're watching us or they're gonna come in and arrest us again. It's just really scary, man.
Yeah, that's insane. I've got that video pulled up, but maybe I could ask you, are you able to send me afterwards that Chicago Tribune article? I'd be interested to
Yeah.
read it.
Yeah. I got that from Charles Wu, actually. I was like, damn, how does this guy find this article? Like, I didn't even know about it.
Damn. Well, we read a lot. So,
Yeah.
anyways, let's watch this video. You said it's him admitting that you're running a legitimate business.
Sounds good.
If all the states attorney, the state's opinions are attorneys, right? And they're telling us, they're giving us advice. At night, they're saying charge, right? So all we can do is do some more research, right? We did.
That's what I did too before I started selling it. I did my research. You should have started your research before you rated it.
Well, go back to what I told you, right? As we come in here and it was illegal, you would have gotten rid of it all.
Yeah.
So that
Or
would have ruined
you
our-
could have come in here and asked me. Like I showed you the paperwork when you rated me. I would have still showed you the papers.
Brother, listen, this has to be going from us. Stop this. We don't know where it's from. You're telling me it's from a company that sold you throughout.
But they're sending it through UPS. UPS is not going to send weed.
Yeah, the paperwork you sent, you showed me today. We know what that's dealing on. It could be made up. They have to research, make sure that everything.
But do you guys think I'm running this business legitimately?
It sure is. That's why you get your stuff back.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we didn't think you were, we wouldn't give it back.
Oh, not even that. The way we're selling it, we're selling.
So yeah, he said if we didn't think you were running your business legitimately, we wouldn't be giving all that stuff back. That's interesting stuff there. It's interesting stuff.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I just think the East Dundee Police Department is not educated on like the laws. And it just sucks that the citizens know the laws more than the East Dundee Police Department.
Right. Also, again, the first, if people want to fact check me on this, they can. In 2020, we legalized cannabis. I put that in air quotes because things like this still happen. But if you read the first few words from that law, it says, in the interest of allowing law enforcement to focus on violent and property crime. And then it continues, we, the General Assembly, find and declare something to that extent that cannabis should be legal. Again, I'm just going off the top of my head. In fact, Google it, folks. The point I'm trying to make is that it seems like we recognized that cannabis should be legal. I'm doing air quotes again. But at the same time, it seems like if you don't have a marijuana license, that the answer to your business activity is the criminal law. Instead of like in other businesses, you have just like a business. There's an enforcement mechanism through like a business offense, right? Operating fees, operating without a license, something like that. With cannabis, we lock you up and we throw you in jail. And I think it's just hypocritical. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like that's the way it should be. Again, because this is a non-violent offense, right? It'd be one thing if you had committed a violent offense. It's like, okay, yeah, I can see maybe why you're going to jail tonight, but you did not do anything violent. And in fact, you didn't do anything wrong because this is a federally legal commodity. I wanted to just keep that surface level for a moment though, because it's like, it's funny that this is federally legal and has been since 2018. But also in 2020, our state said cannabis should be legal. We shouldn't be arresting people for cannabis sales or possession or use. But here we are. They're still trying it. And you're not alone, by the way. I read stories all the time of other people, let's call them, unlicensed entrepreneurs. And I don't mean to say that in a bad way. I mean, these people would willingly do whatever they can to follow the rules. But the way that the cannabis system works in Illinois, the legal cannabis system, it doesn't allow for open participation like that. So Sorry to go on
Yeah.
a little rant there, but I
No,
feel
no,
like
it's
it's
okay.
important to state, that-
No, definitely. I agree. And I also agree that there should be regulations on hemp products because they had a village meeting in regards to like what happened with the store. And excuse me. And the village meeting, there were one of the trustees was talking about putting regulations, and then the other trustees were talking about how they just want to straight up ban it. So I'm definitely all for regulation, getting a hemp license, doing everything the right way so it looks like legit. Making sure everyone's 21 and over to like make that purchase, not allowing like gas station type businesses to sell it, only strictly smoke shops 21 over to enter. Then just regulating it would like make it awesome.
yeah, yeah. I personally think, yeah, there's three simple things that solve this issue, and you basically just said them: require IDs, require labeling, and require testing of the products. I honestly think it only needs to be those three things. I know some people are saying, "Oh, we're willing to, pay an extra tax or whatever." I know even Charles says that, and he's got a proposal for that. And I mean, hey, if that's what you want to do, but I think that the minimum three things we should do are those, three things, which actually, by the way, is Rod Kite's idea.
Yeah.
He calls it the 3-pillar approach to cannabis.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah. Well, I
so
think with the taxing, I think everyone just wants their fair share, just like tobacco and alcohol. So, and they know hemp is a booming industry, just like the cannabis industry. Like they're definitely catching up.
right. For sure, for sure. Well, hey, what other things, do you want to talk about this? I mean, I'm sure it goes without saying that this was a traumatic experience for you.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. It's and it still is a traumatic incident because they put the criminal charges on me. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's
Where does
really
that stand?
interesting. So they sent me the summons. We had a court date. We changed the court date to another date. Which is really weird. So if they put charges on me for like cannabis and delivery, how am I still allowed to sell all this stuff? Which is it's really mind-boggling. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it's just like, is it like a glitch in the system? Like they were gonna charge you, but then they backed off.
It's no, definitely not a glitch because the East Dundee village had a meeting on this, I believe November 18th, and in the meeting they talk about how they're gonna prosecute me. Like two people say it. One of them Scott, and one of them is a other lady. I forgot what her name is. And they're talking to the chief of police, and it's because the chief of police is the one standing in front of them talking about this incident.
Scott
And
who?
they're Scott is one of the village trustees. He was sitting next to the
Oh,
village president at that
okay.
time, and they're talking about prosecuting me. And they're like, "Yeah, he's gonna be prosecuted." And then I'm watching. I'm like, "Prosecute me for what?" And it refers back to the August 22nd raid. And then, but I already have the police report for that. All sides pointed to him. Rod Kite spoke to them. Why are they trying to prosecute me 3 months later for this?
Yeah. That's a head scratcher right there. And
Yeah.
you you're still missing 2 pounds, right?
Yep.
So is maybe that what they're gonna charge you for?
For me missing my items.
No, like I'm just high right now, and I'm like,
Oh, I got you. Understandable.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's a big joke from what it seems like.
well, what I'm asking is like, maybe they still have those 2 pounds because they're gonna charge you for that.
Well, if they still have those 2 pounds, is as THCA sits, it's gonna rise in the percentage because we don't know if it's being
Yeah, the
exposed to
longer they
light.
fucking have it, they
Exactly,
yeah, that's
exactly.
fucking wild, dude.
Yeah, the
So they
longer they
they could
have
have
it.
taken it, and it could have been compliant, and then if they like set it in a hot room, it could become
Yup.
hot.
Exactly,
In other
exactly.
words,
Because when I get
non-compliant.
it, yeah, I get everything through UPS. It's wrapped around in a black like saran wrap. It's sealed like perfectly, And they send it like one day and like it's there, so it's not gonna sit out and like get tampered with in the heat. So the police department is, I'm sure they are keeping it in an area where it's gonna be like heated or whatever, which is like going back to like testing it the wrong way, like with gas. It has to be tested the proper way if you're testing hemp.
Right. In other words, I believe what you're referring to is gas chromatography. It requires heat to be tested, or just
Which
a
tampers
natural
with the evidence.
byproduct, which decarboxylates the product, which makes it non-compliant.
Yeah, it's like HLCPT, some testing. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, there's a lot of different testing, but I think that I've heard that gas chromatography, like I don't know, people should Google that too. People should Google
Mhm.
everything that at least I say. So
Yeah.
well, yeah, like I say, any other elements to touch on in this story? I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this because um, it's so unfortunate that this is still happening, but this is what I like to do is make sure people are aware that this is still happening, even in legal Illinois.
Yes. Yeah. It's just the cops are just misunderstood on the laws, and I think the village should prep the law enforcement on like laws as they come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and again, I feel like I'm being way too fair maybe to law enforcement, but I haven't even seen your products, man, but when you see a bunch of weed in jars, which I'm not saying you had, but I've heard people describe some of these smoke shops where, it looks just like a classic dispensary. And honestly, it is what it is because it's like, it's hemp. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
there's no like regulation. It's just like going to a grocery store and buying bananas and apples and oranges, weighing it out there and seeing how much they cost. There's
right.
got to be regulations on this in order for law enforcement to do something and act on it. But if they see the lab reports, they have to go by the lab reports because that's when it was like harvested, tested on a dry weight basis. So if they're like using their own lab reports and their own testing to create a false report, it's just wrong. It's really
Ha-
wrong. You can't do that.
Did they ever give you an impression as to why they got the search warrant or why they even bothered you?
Yeah, so first they told us it was 911 callers. Like people came into the store and they got a couple of 911 calls that were selling flour out of here. Okay, well we are selling flour, you know. And then they also said in the village hall meeting that it could be dispensaries also. Because there's a dispensary maybe the next neighboring town over, and they're probably complaining also. So I don't know exactly because the police do lie a lot. And I did recently find out that they sent another for my criminal charge. They sent a test to like another state, which I don't understand why they're saying they sent the products from my store to another state when they returned everything, and they gave us the police report saying that everything was returned and it's hemp. So I don't know. I'm bouncing around too much right now.
No, it's all good.
And yeah, I'm sure you'll edit it out and make it perfect.
I mean, I usually, like I was saying, don't edit these things. It's cool to get it raw, man. And I get what you're saying though. Like it's hard to. You just went through a really tough experience, so it's probably hard to communicate it. I just was curious as to why, yeah, they even chose you. I'm sure, like, you're not the only smoke shop in town, are you?
No, so there is another smoke shop, but it's fairly small. Like it's like a lot of like wall space. It's empty. But it's just one more other smoke shop.
Okay.
Um
Well, that
that's
makes,
about
you
it.
know, that's kind of a, because in like nearby towns that I live in, there's like, I would say over a handful. So if one had issues, I
Yeah,
don't know,
but
it wouldn't particularly be like maybe newsworthy, but since there are only two in your town, I could see why it's like, oh, this is weird. But
yeah, but that one's never rated. They sell the same stuff I sell. It's just not like how there's flour like
sure.
visible and looks like drugs, but it's not drugs though.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's what I like to see. I've gone to like some shops and a shop in Chicago, and I've heard of different places opening up that are doing exactly what you're doing, and they're doing it the right way too, which I'm sure they're doing what we're talking about, which is you have that information if consumers are wanting to know about it, you ID them, and the products are labeled correctly. You're telling them what they're getting. So.
Yep. Yep.
Um, Yeah, it'd be nice if we could just find a sensible way to move forward with this. There's what do you think about the people that have been calling for bans on what you're doing? What do you think about that?
Um, if people are calling for ban, I don't think it's like people. I would have to say it's more like bigger like bigger companies like
Fair.
dispensaries because
Thank you actually for saying that because I mean, yeah, it's usually the bigger cannabis companies or even
yeah.
some of the social equity licensees because they I've gotten some feedback from people. I will say, oh, it's all the big cannabis companies, and some of the social equity licensees will reach out and they'll be like, no, it's us too. We want that shut down too. So, um, you know,
Because why would people complain? They're getting it for a cheaper price. It's good quality. It's exactly on point with the weight.
you can get it
It's
mailed to your door. You can pick it up at your local smoke shop. It's pretty fucking awesome.
yeah. It's just
Credit where credit is due.
but
There is one social equity company that they send me these hemp sodas. I get these hemp sodas from them or different. They sell. The point is that they not only have a cannabis license, but they also do the hemp products. And it's like so I wanted to give kudos to them. But anyways, sorry to just get us back on track. What do you think about those? Let's just say special interests because like you said, most people that consume these products are like, hell yeah, dude, this is awesome. What do you think about those special interests that are pushing to make your business that is federally legal illegal?
I didn't understand the question.
Well, like, how do you feel about the people that want to make your business illegal? And I say the
Ah,
people, I mean to say the interests. Like you said, it's the companies. How
how
does
do
that
I
make you
feel
feel?
about that? Well,
Yeah.
I feel pretty horrible. Like, put some regulations on it, put some rules on hemp, and we don't have to feel anyway. It's just let's just move things forward. Everyone can be happy, like tax us like how you're being taxed, but don't tax us as much. It's a different object. It's hemp. It's not marijuana. So like have like a different like tax code for us. Have some sort of licensing, and so it's fair to everyone. I can understand like the unfairness to like the cannabis company. I can understand that clearly, but then put some rules on it and like do something about it.
Yeah, I don't actually get the unfairness argument because again, companies like this, they have a cannabis license and they do this. So it's not unfair. They're able to do it, They just choose not to. And a lot of these big companies actually are choosing to now.
Yeah.
Some of the bigger companies are getting into hemp. I get what you were saying though. I get why. I didn't mean to like totally gloss over your point. I get what you meant when some of these companies say it's unfair, like the fact that you're able to accept credit cards and they can't and all that stuff. How would you respond if, because sometimes when people like yourself say that, they'll say like, why don't you just get a cannabis license?
Well, first of all, it's not cannabis, so it has to be a different license. And then if they did say something like that, and if I had to respond to it, I would just say, um, give us a I would say put a little tax on it. Why not? If tobacco and alcohol or and like cannabis are being treated like that, because if you go to a dispensary and you buy something, bam, 30% tax on like if you buy like an eighth, it'll be like $60. But if you go to like a smoke shop, you get the really similar same item. It'll be like $30, $40, like out the door probably. And people are saving a lot of money. But then if you put a little bit of like tax or some other rules on it, like so like the village can make money off it or the city, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything with like taxes or rules being applied to it. Just so it's like fair game for everyone. Otherwise, everyone would just be like a drug dealer on the street, and then you could just sell whatever. And then obviously the government has to make something off of it. It's fair game. I believe in fair game for like if it's tobacco and alcohol. I believe hemp should be in there also.
Yeah. Well, hey, any other thoughts before we go?
Mm, no, you've been great, man. You did a great job. I
Thank,
think I
thank you.
didn't do that great of a job as you did, but this is my first time.
Hey, I think you did just fine. Again, I want to give you some grace. Like you just went through and you're still going through a pretty scary and tough situation. So, I just appreciate you and don't worry about it. I think you did great. Like seriously, I think it's easy to be critical of yourself, you know what I mean? Especially when you come on a podcast, you're like, you just feel like you're not saying all the right things. Like, honestly, I host a podcast and I feel that way all the time. So don't overthink it. I think you did great. And I want to just thank you again for spending the time with me, sharing the footage, and I wish you the best. You know, keep in touch. Would love to do this again in the future. Hopefully, when none of these attacks on your business are happening and you're just happily conducting business just like you used to do all these years, right? Because this is a relatively new thing for you. Maybe that's a good question to end on. Like, it's been, you said 15 years of running a smoke shop, pretty uneventful. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, yeah, your stores are kind of the talk of some state debates. Not your stores
Yeah.
specifically, but stores like yours.
Yeah.
And yeah, is that kind of a weird development in your career? Like, is it?
You know what? I believe that I feel like I'm like a chosen one because not that many smoke shops get targeted like how I do. So, like, you know what I mean by saying I'm like a chosen one because of the outcome. That's what's going to happen at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Because it'll definitely be to my advantage, and whatever they're doing is definitely making my case even more like solid and making it even much better. It's just going through this process is just really, really weird. But I also feel that doing this is really good for the police department to understand that they can't be going around and doing this to like other smoke shops or other people because they got to understand like the laws. And without them doing this to me, they're not going to understand what the right thing is, and they'll just do it again.
Yep. Yeah. You know, a thought that I just had before we go is when I used to go to smoke shops, like my local smoke shops, first of all, it was funny for a time whenever we wanted to get bongs or anything, we had to call them like water pipes and like a tobacco pipe or whatever.
What happened to freedom of speech?
Right. But that was before it was legal, right? You know,
Yeah.
or cannabis was legal.
Yeah.
But now that it's the thought I'm trying to say is that when I used to buy that stuff from that store, I always figured that when cannabis would become legal, that that's where I'd buy weed from. Because I'm buying all my other shit there too, like my rolling papers, my lighters, and all that stuff. Like,
Exactly.
why wouldn't I also be able to buy weed there? Like, I always thought that that would be the case. I always thought also that, you know, that there would be a section in like big stores, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
gas stations, for example. It's interesting how like some people have been saying, oh, this gas station weed. It's like, I always thought weed was going to be sold in a gas station if it's legal. Why not? You know, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just
but the thing with the gas station is like an underage should go into a gas station.
fair, but they also sell alcohol and tobacco in gas stations
Which is really wrong.
and boner pills and you know like speed. I've seen like speed supplements, like literally
Yeah.
something called like Addy, and it's supposed to be like synthetic Adderall, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's some weird shit.
Xylazine, maybe I'm going off the top of my head, but they call it like gas station heroin. Like there's some crazy shit sold at gas station, like cannabis. I think alcohol, tobacco, cannabis, you know, should be behind the counter and
Correct.
you should maybe have to you should definitely have to be ID'd for it. But the reason I was thinking is because I was just thinking like the gas station in town here, there's literally candy, right? So you go up to the register, there's candy on the front shelf. Everybody has seen that. Like it's kind of a staple of all grocery stores like that. So you can get a Reese's peanut butter cup. Right above that, there's a shelf of Fireball, right? Little shooters of Fireball.
Right.
And it's not behind the counter. Like, and I don't know. I'm just trying to make the point that alcohol and a lot of these other substances that we're just allowing to be sold that can really hurt people.
Well, they are hurting people. More people are dying off alcohol than hemp.
Right. So yeah, I'm just trying to make the point that like, I don't know, I think hemp can be sold in wherever, you know.
Yeah, I agree
Farmers
with what you're
markets.
saying, but that's never gonna happen.
I hope. Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you though.
A boy can dream, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
all right. Well, we'll end it on that. Thank you again, Bilal. And
Well, thank you for
folks,
having me.
yeah, absolutely. We'll see you on the next episode of the Cole Memo. Take care.